No, I'm not gonna drop with that guy. I don't got the loot. I don't got the time. I don't got the skill. I don't got anything. Yeah, thanks, Epic. Good. And yeah, let's shot him. More minis, more minis. I love this game. Wait, I'm actually being teased. Finishing. Actually, no, I don't got the mats. I don't got the mats. I need to find a way to get into this truck. Not only something. Proof of your mind. Nah, it's not worth the upgrade. Maybe this feels like a red eye so I can change my thing completely. But no, I don't want it. I don't know where anyone is. Right here. No, I don't think there isn't. As I say that, I feel like I regret like just walking this way. But I might as well just grab it right? Because I'm already here. And I do regret. Do that. Grab the flare gun. Not the shadow shot, where's the flare gun? There's a flare gun. Well, there's my flare this way. See if I can mark any of them. I'm gonna mark any of them. Right there. My aim. With this gun shot on this. So I can see where he is. This is good for me. Cause he's healing. Yeah, he's gonna run, so I'm gonna just run practically alongside him. He has a katana. I'm actually rotate towards this way. go around. I want to risk the fight. He looks decent, and I have really little mats. I'm actually gonna farm mats. I'm not gonna break that tree. He's gonna know I'm here. For sure see that. Am I taking an SMG over this pistol? I don't know. I don't know what I prefer at this moment. With the new mythic pistol back, which isn't that much better than the gold one. The new augment. I haven't tried it out, which is why I'm stressing to get the... If I get a purple SMG, I'll take it. Oh, there's mats over here. There's something I do need, I'm gonna need. 55, that's good. Oh, I didn't. Just for real, there you go, I got it. Takes a lot of coordination to hit that jump. And you just gotta have like parkour expertise from all your death runs, which I don't play. I barely play death runs, usually it's just like XP death runs. Nah. Maybe a turn mag. 30, 59, 59. No, I'm not trying to, I'm just trying to like crack people or just like tag them and then just leave. I can't see stuff. I need to mark him, I can't see him. I've literally being sprayed by like 2 people, bro. He's such a loser, bro. I hate the pistol, bro. What is my aim with the pistol? Actually horrendous. I'm never rocking the pistol ever again. I actually hate it. I regret picking that thing up. Like I should real regret picking that garbage up. It's not garbage, it's just I don't like it. I actually hate it. I for real hate it. Bro, I'm not trying to sweat, bro. Bro, I think I lost arena points. You know what? I'm trying to drop at the least dropped spot. You know what? Let's drop at the Nikkei 30 spot. I'm pretty sure that's Nikkei 30 spot. I don't remember the one they dropped in on one of the videos. A30 spot. Dropping my the quote-unquote overpowered spot. There's a spot that I know that you can camp in an arena. I'm gonna test it out. I hate it so. I get so much better lobby. I suck at horrendous. Better than I was before. I definitely wasn't before. Or maybe a little bit faster, kinda. My wallers for sure. My stairs were better. I need to stare at it. I was resetting the stairs that I struggle on screen. Oh god, yeah, purple connect. If I get a bounty, the bounty's gonna be the one killing me. I didn't even know that there's ODM doing this until like today. I haven't played arena with ODM game. Like I haven't played arena in a while. But I got the beginning of the season with my friends. Where it's a good game. Alright, oh, okay. I think a Havoc's the way to go in arena. Red Eyes aren't really good in this. Like, they're better than zero build Red Eyes. In arena, I feel like they're not as useful for some reason. Because, like, people are just really annoying. I don't know, talk about the fact that I missed Tabea. I don't know if I'm gonna drop. I'm gonna drop the ADMG or the. I got 20 shots. Sounded like an error, so I don't think that was a death. And 20. And for 20 again. Okay, now I'm not gonna try to fight this here. Because he's healed. I'm just trying to rotate this way. You're hopping the guard rest. Actually, I'm gonna check this spot out first. And then, after I check this spot out, we can rotate circle or something. Even if it's fully charged, it should be better than me. Yeah, get closer. There you go. I'm already full. Yeah. I want to reset that. I don't know why, but I thought that the cone was open, so I went to reset the floor so I can. That's so freaking annoying. You know what? I'm gonna watch crazy, really trustable videos on how to get better. This is crazy. How to get better at Fortnite. This is why you aren't getting better at Fortnite. The first thing that pops up, let's see what it says. 2 days ago. Evolve Jake. Okay, let's see.
What is up, guys? In today's video, I'm going to be going over why you might not be improving in Fortnite. As always, if you guys do find this helpful, informative, remember to subscribe if you like to see more.
Oh yeah.
How long you've been.
I like and subscribe.
So this video is going to focus more on like long term. If you haven't been improving in like several days or weeks at a time, then this video will kind of address some of that. If you get on and have one bad day, it is what it is. It happens. Fortnite is a very day-to-day game, and some days you get on and it just feels incredibly weird. But this is going to be more like long-term stagnation or slumping. If you have one bad day, it's probably not that important to adjust any of this. The first thing is going to be not getting in fights. I've talked about this so many times in several different videos on my channel, but it's pretty natural for players when they first get on a battle royale to want to win and just, you know, get a win as fast as possible or as soon as possible. And this leads to a lot of people camping and playing super passive and just avoiding conflict. And you can get wins doing this. It does work occasionally, but a lot of it is going to be up to like timing and the situation. If you are not very good at fighting, but you hear the last other two players or two teams fighting, and then you kind of swoop in and third party it, you can kind of like steal that win, but you're not really going to get any wins that you shouldn't. You know, you're not going to outplay people. And the reason why this really matters is because if you're not getting in fights, you're not going to get better fighting. And this is going to be, in the long term, you're not going to improve over time. You might get wins this way, and you might be able to win somewhat regularly playing this way, but you're not actually getting better more often than not. So if you do have that very passive playstyle and you feel like it just isn't working anymore, or you just haven't feel like you've been getting better,
Actually,
I would definitely
I do that.
Getting in more fights, because that's really the only way you're going to improve in the game is by fighting other players and getting used to the mechanics and getting used to like how you want to play fights, what works for you, and things of that nature. So definitely get in more fights if you haven't been and you've been playing super passive. The next one is kind of difficult to talk about because it can help you improve, but it can also
Mhm,
hold you
mhm.
back depending on the mindset you have.
Mhm,
That's going to be
yeah.
changing your settings, and this is why
Yeah, I
at the start
have.
of the video I emphasize this is more of a long-term thing. If you just have one bad day, it's probably not a good idea to like change your keybinds and change your settings. But if you've never adjusted your sensitivity, you've never adjusted your keybinds, and you feel like there are certain weaknesses to them, like maybe your sensitivity is too fast and you can't control it, or too slow and you have like a really hard time tracking opponents up close because of that. And then same with keybinds. If you feel like there are certain inefficiencies to your keybinds, then adjusting these settings definitely
Yeah, I had
help you
OG
more in
keybinds.
the long run. And there are a lot of players that just straight up play on default settings because they don't feel like, you know, adjusting them at all. And default settings can be okay for like newer players. They're usually a decent starting point. It's very uncommon that those are like the most ideal settings for certain players. So if you do feel like there are certain inefficiencies to your keybinds, like things you just really struggle to do, or different fights that you really
Yeah.
struggle with, like if it's really long range fights, maybe lowering your ADS sensitivity a bit. If it's a close range fight, you know, you want to have a sensitivity that feels good to fire with. Things of that nature, obviously, it'll vary what you need to change from person to person or what you're struggling with, but I definitely think changing your settings is important.
That's
It's very
crazy.
rare, like I said, that the default settings are ideal, but you also don't want to fall into the trap of the people that just change their settings 24/7. I've known several people like this over the years that like anytime they have a bad day, they're just like changing their sense, or they're changing their keybinds, or there's like always something in their settings that is like the problem, you know? And not only does this not ideal because they're never going to be used to their settings if they're changing it too much, they kind of use it as like an excuse, and they don't really address some of the other things that we're going to talk about later on. So adjust your settings, but don't be like too reactive about it. You know, like if it's a consistent problem, then adjust them. If it's just a one-off thing, or you just have one bad day for whatever reason, I wouldn't recommend changing it because it's like taking a step backwards, but you do take several steps forward if your settings do get better, you know. But if you're just constantly changing it, then you're never able to adjust to it, and you're never going to be taking those steps forward. The next thing that I think a lot of players struggle with is they don't worry about like the basic, like fundamental skills of the game, and especially for people who have been playing for a while, they get comfortable, like they kind of learn about these things and they really use them early on. But once they get comfortable playing, they kind of forget about them. There's gonna be things like, you know, playing right shoulder peeks, strafing in fights, and like jumping and crouching and things of that nature. When you're in a close range fight, you know, using your shotgun, swapping to the spray weapon, and then swapping back to the shotgun. Some players just kind of get lazy. They know about weapon swapping, they know it's ideal, but like they kind of just get lazy and don't worry about swapping back. You know, opening fights with like good AR tags, playing different angles than your teammates, things of that nature. These are all very common basic things that probably most people already knew when I said them. But when people I feel like people focus on them early on and like get decent at them, and then they think that like, okay, I'm done with that. I don't have to worry about that anymore. But those things are like the fundamentals or the basics because they are very important and they're just always helpful. So if you feel like you're just playing really bad for whatever reason, some of these, if you feel like you have gotten lazy about some of them, just like kind of forcing yourself to worry about it for a few games and making like a conscious effort to like actually do it can help you kind of like get back into that habit. Another thing is going to be bad habits. This is another thing that can hold a player back, and it is another thing that like early on people might hear about some of these things and then not have that problem. But once you've been playing a little bit longer, once you've gotten more confident, once you feel like, you know, you can win most of your fights, some of these bad habits creep back into people's gameplay. And the reason why this is important to address, and why I was talking about the settings, you don't want to like blame the settings and then not address any of this other stuff, is because if you keep that bad habit there, it's going to keep costing you. And I feel like the longer you let it stick around, the harder it is going to be to break it. Those could be things like, you know, not getting those opening AR tags, challenging when you're weak. Sometimes you do have to challenge when you're weak to kind of alleviate some pressure, but there's also times where like you could get heals off, but you're like more eager about the fight, and I'm guilty of this myself. Another thing I'm guilty of is like chasing people when it isn't ideal. Like chasing people is often bad, but you know how it is when like you get someone weak and then you really want to get that kill. And the more you let these habits stick around, the more problematic it's going to be, and the more games it's going to keep costing you. So
Instagram ad.
if you do feel like you're just not improving, or you just keep losing because of things that you don't feel like you should be losing to, oftentimes it's one of these like kind of bad habits holding you back. It is inconvenient to like figure out which one it is. I feel like the easiest way to find out, or the most efficient way, would be to watch your games back in replay mode but no one wants to do that at all, you know? It's like pretty extra to do that. It's more of like a thing comp players do. But if you do feel like you're just playing really bad for whatever reason, it is crazy how many things you'll see if you watch your games back that you're just like, what was I doing there? And I know this firsthand because I edit all of my own videos, so like I end up watching a lot of my gameplay in like a roundabout way when editing videos. Another thing that can really stop people from progressing is going to be relying on gimmicks or like super overpowered items. And this is a problem because Fortnite always has these overpowered items, but they change season to season. So like this season it might be something like the ODM gear or the heavy sniper. Obviously the heavy sniper takes skill, but some players use it as like a bailout and they just play off that entirely. And if they don't hit their snipes, they're not able to fight, you know? And then same with the ODM melee. If someone's like only way to win fights is that, not only is it not that great, like it's not that reliable. If they get shot, they're gonna lose. But also, it's not gonna be around for a long time. If you're good at fighting with like AR, shotgun, SMG, no matter what the meta is, there's probably gonna be some variation of those items in the game. Whereas like, Season 4, for example, if someone's entire playstyle relied on the goo gun, that was effective in Chapter 3, Season 4, and it was very good, and there's a lot of people who took advantage of it, like myself included. But if your entire playstyle is that, it can really cost you in the long run. And snipers, this happens to for a lot of players. Chapter 3, Season 4, we had the Hunter Bolt Sniper in the game that was very good. Some people's playstyle very much warped around that. And then Chapter 4, Season 1 came out, there was no snipers, and those people, you know, had to adapt to that. And it's one thing to use the gimmick items, like I said, or the overpowered items. They're in the game and they're broken. You probably should use them, but you don't want to be like that. That's your only way that you can get kills. You know, like the lightsabers are coming back to the game this week. There will likely be some people who use them a lot, and they're going to be annoying. But once they're gone, those people are going to have to adapt again, and it does cost them in several instances from what I've seen, just based on, you know, reading comments about people from the game. Whenever there's like one of these super overpowered weapons that gets vaulted, I always get comments of people talking about how like difficult it is for them to play the game without that. The next thing is going to be counterintuitive to some of you, and that's just going to be playing too much.